Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. There's brand new music from Trauma. It's called When I Die on Rock and Metal Revival. And, brother, that's from a brand new album called Rapture and Wrath, and I'm really digging it.
I'm digging it too, man. I've been listening to it the last few days. Just kicking my ass.
All right. Well, we want to welcome back lead vocalist of Trauma to the show, Donnie-Hilliar. Welcome to the show, Donnie.
Thank you very much, Red and Jerry, and all the listeners at the Rock and Metal Revival Show. It's good to be back on the show. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you. Hey, Donnie, I want to know right off the bat, how does it feel to have your first new album in 31 years?
It felt long overdue, and you know, I think we talked in the past, how just time flew by, and the musicians were all busy doing other projects, and it just, getting people in the same place at the same time took way longer than you would ever imagine. But to answer your question, it feels great to have something out. It was getting tiresome being known as a band that did one album back in the 80s. And, of course, that was the reality of it. So we, got together and with a new lineup and did the Rapture and Wrath album, and now that that's out, we're starting to work on songs for yet another album. We want to keep going.
Well, Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses got nothing on you with 31 years.
I know, Boston too.
Yeah. So, hey, I guess the question I wanted to do is, now that we find out, hear these new songs of Rapture and Wrath, I was wondering, were those written in the last couple of years, or were those ones you had shelved back from the 80s, or was this all new writing?
That's all new writing. The band has a new guitarist, Kurt Fry, and Kurt. Those songs all started with Kurt bringing either pretty well developed songs or riffs and chord progressions to the band. In a few cases, just Kurt and I worked up in advance and then showed the songs to the band. But they all started with Kurt, and then we put the songs together. But it was all new material.
So did it all come from like jamming together, or did you and Kurt work on the side?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was jamming so much as all those ideas had structure to them. When Kurt brought them in, they would have like, maybe an intro or verses and a chorus, maybe a refrain, so, and then some of the songs built over a short period of time, but it wasn't jamming so much. Not really.
Yeah.
Hey, now, Donnie, do you see yourself fighting the label of Cliff Burton's band before Metallica, or do you embrace that part of your band's history?
Oh, we embrace it. It's, Kurt was, Cliff was a fantastic guy, and even after he left Trauma, we were proud of him, and we remained friends, and so no, he was a great person, and I'm glad that I got to know him and be friends and play in a band with him.
How hard was he to replace, though, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a disappointment. Lucas Advincula stepped in and replaced him, and he's a competent bass player, not the showman Cliff was. And of course, Cliff was the original bassist and a longtime friend of the members of the band. So it wasn't quite the same kind of dynamic with Lucas, but it just was what had to be.
Now, tell us about the current lineup that you've got going of Trauma.
Well, there's a lot of history among the members of the band. Kurt Fry, the guitarist, back in the 80s, I was in a band with him. In the 90s, he was in a band with the drummer, Chris Gustafson. In the 80s, Kurt was in a band with the new bass player, Steve Rebello. So, it's that kind of thing, this kind of almost like, long-term associations, and we had all these people in the right place at the right time to have a new lineup. Steve Steve was actually the guitarist in a band called Dublin Death Patrol. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was Scott Ian in that or something? Or
that was with
different?
they had two singers, and you guys know them both. It was Steve Zetro Souza from Exodus and Chuck Billy from
Chuck Billy from Testament.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yep,
Cool.
and so Steve grew up in Dublin, California, with those guys, so they go a ways back. So so there's some history among the members of the new lineup.
Now, Donnie, from talking to a lot of the bands we have on the show, they say that the only way that they're making money anymore is from merch and touring. Do you have any plans to tour in the U.S. or Europe in the near future?
Oh, we'd love to. We don't have any immediate touring plans right now. That is what we would like to do and what we'd like to focus on, putting together a team that can help us do that very thing. But that's true, yeah. But with, of course, digital downloading and all that, it's sucked the money out of the recording industry. Although, vinyl, as you know, is making a comeback.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, it is touring and merchandising.
Is this available on vinyl? Because I'm a vinyl dude now.
It's going to be, and I'm sorry I've forgotten the date, but I saw on the Pure Steel Records website they had announced a date that the album would be out on vinyl.
Oh, cool! I'd definitely get a copy of that. Yeah, I love vinyl, man. Vinyl's cool.
I gave away my turntable, so if I'm going to get back into it, I got to do something there. But,
yeah. I had to start all over. I had to go get the
turntable. I can imagine. I didn't have any foresight on that. I didn't see that happening all over again. But
no, it's kind of cool though, man. I like the sound of records. They just sound different. Now, on this album, you got the. It sounds like a 80s. It sounds like this could have came out in the 80s. The way it sounds, is that what you guys were going for, sound-wise, production-wise?
I think, in part that was the engineer that we recorded with, and I don't know that we sat down and said we're going to sound like that, but it did happen kind of organically with the people involved.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Now, are there any songs on the album you think could have benefited from some cowbell? Because I think...
well, every song benefits from cowbell.
Yeah, the whole album it's like, man, there's a couple songs there that are just begging for some cowbell. But
let's see. I guess, I guess The Long Way Home could use a cowbell.
Yeah, see? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking that could definitely happen. That would be good.
Yep. Hey, we're thinking alike.
Hey, Donnie, if fans want to keep up with Trauma, and where can they buy your CDs and keep up with the latest news on you guys?
Well, we do have a website, and in fact, Chris, the drummer, just called me this morning and said that the new website is up. I haven't seen it myself yet.
I have.
It's
cool.
Okay, it's traumametal.com, and so there's that, and then on Facebook we are Trauma USA, and those are two places. As far as where to buy the CD, it's kind of at all the usual suspects for outlets, iTunes and Amazon, and I've noticed there's quite a difference in price range depending on where you're shopping for it. There's a lot of foreign sites, of course, that have it, but yeah, just do your shopping, and it's there. I mean, there's just page after page of outlets that are offering it.
Well, very cool.
And then, like I said, if you're interested in vinyl, that will be out soon. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the date. It was something in either April or May.
Cool.
But PureSteelRecords.com, they have an announcement for that.
All right, we'll have to get you a copy, brother.
Definitely.
All right, well, we like to play another tune off the new CD called Rapture and Wrath. Red and Jerry give this 2 thumbs up, and go out and check it out. But the tune we're going to play here is called Egypt. Donnie, can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, it's kind of a political song, and so the lyrics really take you from the time of the ancient gods, the sun god Ra from Egypt, and then making the point lyrically that the people wanted to replace the god, and brings us to the turmoil in Egypt and that part of the world today. And it's just there's some spiritual, religious, political meaning to the lyrics.
All right, very cool. Well, we're going to crank it up right now. Donnie-Hilliar, thank you so much for coming on Rock and Metal Revival.
Oh, thank you, Red and Jerry.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radios on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, on Rock 101 KLOL on Saturdays 11 p.m. Eastern, on Z-Rock 106.9 KKZR Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.